In this lesson, we're going to expand our discussion of inventory models to where we allow there to be stockouts or shortages. We're going to eventually focus in on single period models, but initially I want to first look back at the simple EOQ model we developed in the last lesson, but this time allow a certain assumption to be loosened. That is that we allow planned back orders at some cost. And this fundamental change in assumptions will help lead us into how we can handle uncertainty in demand. So let's look at our list of assumptions. And so now we want to come up with a list of assumptions for planned back orders. So I'm going to allow you to have back ordered demand, but it's going to be at some certain cost. So the only assumption that we're loosening is that there can be excess demand, because before we assumed that there would be none. And we're going to assume if there is any excess demand, then we're going to assume that those orders are back ordered, that we still will deliver them. So what we determined last lesson is this simple sawtooth diagram, and we figured out and showed ways to determine Q star, the optimal order quantity, the economic order quantity, and T star, which is just the order frequency. So the question is it better to do this in order when our inventory level is 0, right? When inventory on hand is 0, you order Q star. Or if we allow inventory to go negative, so there'd be back orders, does it make sense to order at this point? And we're going to call this quantity B. And so the idea here is that I have this amount of inventory, which we know and is treated as CE, that excess inventory, but I'm introducing this amount. And we're going to call this C sub S, or the shortage cost. And so the question we're trying to figure out, if I allow it to go negative, and it costs me a little bit to be out of stock, but is the optimal quantity make sense to go negative, or is it always going to be to make sure you always have inventory on hand? And so before we dive into the math, what I want to do is test your intuition. So on the next question, you have a little problem. I want you to answer the question, what do you think will happen to Q star and T star if we allow for planned back orders at some cost, that C sub S that I talked about?